Hello. Welcome to my eponymously named channel, Mr. Noir. I am your host, Mr. Noir. So before we begin, I'm going to give you a little disclaimer. I've recently had some medical stuff done, and my throat is a little bit rough. I've got some vocal fry. I was intubated recently. So you'll see me demolishing this hot tea to keep things right along the way. So I'm not a medical professional, and don't even think to take my advice, because what I'm telling you is not advice or direction. It is merely a recounting of what I've been through recently with my own health journey. Okay, so I'm going to give you a quick intro. My name is Mr. Noir. I'm 54, got a family of 5, including myself, and I've recently gone through some medical chaos that I would like to share with you in hopes of, illuminating your next steps in case you're in the same situation as I was. Okay, so this whole channel is for other guys like me, over 40, maybe not going through the easiest time in life. There's a lot of variations and variables and volatility, for lack of a better word, going on in not just my life, but in the world at large. So I'm going to try to be as calm and cool as I can. I tend to be a little bit of a softie, so you'll notice pauses along the way if things get too heavy for me. I don't mind being a softie at this point in my life. I like to share, and, to be quite honest, most guys our age, they weren't raised in a way where you could say, that was beautiful, or they're watching a Bridgerton with their wives, and they're like, I can't believe it. I'm actually glad for that person. Anyway, so yeah, it's for people in their 40s or 50s who are this first episode is for people going through some medical stuff in their life. And I'm going to give you what happened to me. Okay, so over the last 2 months, I've had some medical problems, mostly in my heart. It's been very cardiovascular in relation. And what happened in December was I had an episode, let's call it that, where I was upstairs and I started coughing and my lungs flooded, and I couldn't really catch a breath, and it was very stressful. I took a nebulizer treatment, a breathing treatment for people with asthma, and that seemed to help. But I wound up being in a hospital for about a week to get stabilized and figured out. And then I took a month off, came back home, thought everything was going good, made it through Christmas, made it through New Year's. And then at the end of the month, it happened again. I'm upstairs. I had just come upstairs. I don't know if I was laughing or what, but I got into a coughing fit that again flooded my lungs to the point where I was barely able to catch a breath. And when I coughed, I couldn't get anything out. And ordinarily, I can get some pretty good phlegm out. But this time, I started coughing to the point where I couldn't get anything productive out. Which, after about 20 minutes of going through that, I was like, okay, if I don't leave the house now and go to the hospital, I don't want to conk out in my house and have my wife picking up a body. So we go to the hospital, which took a lot longer this time than it did last time. And I get to the hospital, I go into triage, and they ask me every possible Jeopardy question that they could. And I answer it for them, and they wind up giving me an SPAP machine. I believe that's the name of it, where the machine both breathes in and out for you. Now, I already use the CPAP machine. I, in fact, like it. I enjoy being able to cover myself completely and still get fresh air under the covers. A lot of people don't. So they got me stabilized. And I didn't particularly care for the SPAP machine, but it did its job. They gave me some medications, they calmed me down, and told me right off the bat, oh yeah, you're going to be staying here overnight. I was like, okay, great. I don't want that, but I'm along for the ride, and I'm not going to go home and have this happen again. So I stay overnight. I meet with the cardiologist the next day. Great guy. And they say, okay, we're going to send you to the university and we're going to get you taken care of. We're going to have something done to you called a cardioversion. Now, a cardioversion sounds a lot more involved than it is. But fundamentally, if you're in AFib and you've got a fluttery heart, the doctor brings you into the operating room and shocks your heart back into sinus rhythm, which I was not at. So you'll also hear me talk about ejection fraction, which is how effective your heart is to beating to get the blood out of it and to bring more into it. Mine was pretty low. It was like 25%. I don't know what it is right now. I'll find out on the 9th. But my doctor said, okay, we're going to take you in and get you this cardioversion, and we're going to straighten you right out. I'm drinking hot tea to keep my throat open. A couple days passed, and I wind up going to my appointment at the university. I get there at 9 a.m. for a treatment at 11. Stay there for 2 hours, get a bunch of observations. They take an EKG. They ask me a bunch of questions, and I feel good. I feel like it'll be nice to get this over. And they take me into the operating room. They dose me. Next thing you know, I'm out cold. And the next thing I know, I wake up back in the same bed area that I was in before. Except now, my heart is beating strongly. I still got some block going on, like an 80% block. But they did an angio and said, we'll get to that. So they gave me the cardioversion, and everything was right with the world. I immediately felt better, which is a relief. And that leads me to telling you, my fellow middle-aged fella, this whole thing has been very stressful, not just for me, but for my family. And as I said, we've gone through a number of conversations and family meetings, and we're very much focused on never letting this happen again. And I would encourage you to not let it reach the point where it led me to an emergency room visit, and then a week stay, and then another stay, and just a hassle. Although, to be honest, it would have been easily avoided for God only knows how long. Without proper treatment, my heart would have gotten weaker. Oh, let me tell you, because of my weak heart, I was not able to adequately, take care of business in the bedroom, which is hard, obviously. Well, not so much, as it so happens. So running out of breath, having to stop along the way is a pain in the ass. And fortunately, I've been married long enough so that I don't have to worry about repercussions of not being able to perform every single time. After 30 years, I get a couple of birdies on that. I don't play golf, just so that we're clear. Anyway, if you find yourself middle-aged like me, and maybe you haven't taken care of your body the way you should have, like me, and you find yourself either getting short of breath, or not able to go up a flight of stairs, or coughing and suddenly flooding, take it from me, it is not something that I would endorse doing over and over again. It's not a fun experience. And so, on your next checkup, if you're the type that does them annually, I'm not. I don't prefer to go to the doctors unless I have to. Maybe that's changed. I'm not sure. We'll find out. I'm trying to get on the right track. And if you're one of those guys that doesn't like going to the hospital, take it from me. You don't want to be in a position where you are carried off to a hospital. I was very close to getting into an ambulance, and there's nothing worse than having your kids see you go into an ambulance, because that opens you up to a lot of, oh shit, what's going on with dad? And you don't want your kids to feel that way, ever. So as I said, I'm a bit of a softie at this point, so I might mist up a little as I tell you this story. But the last damn thing you want is for your kids to see you carted off in an ambulance to a hospital and then them follow up with you moments later. Because, that being the strong guy for their whole life, and then you suddenly going through some issues, no matter what it is tough, not just for the father, but for the kids. And it's hard coming to the reality that, yeah, I'm human just like you are. Go figure. This is the misty-eyed part, in case you were curious. So, yeah, they took me to the hospital. They got me straightened out. As it so happens, the month prior, I had just gotten into a fantastic job, and it looked like the forecast was fantastic. It was more money than I had ever made, and I was really looking forward to the job when all of this transpired. And I started working, easy work, lots of money, felt really good about it. We get halfway through January, and all of a sudden, me and this other new guy, got a phone call. Hey, we just got our budget in, and we're going to have to stop utilizing the contractors that we just hired. Obviously, this was a gut punch. Little did I know that I was about to have some more medical situations, coincide with that. Lost job, heart about to explode. So I'm in the process of not just looking for another job, but also pivoting and changing direction. What I do for a living is high-end presentation design. So if you've used PowerPoint or watched a PowerPoint and were really impressed by it, that's what I do for a living. I moved my family to Maui, Hawaii for 8 years using nothing but PowerPoint. So I'm pretty good at it. Anyway, lost the job. Now I'm on the path of changing direction and leaving presentation design and maybe going into a YouTube channel. We'll see how it works out with this first episode. I was only going to give myself 15 minutes for this. How long am I at right now? I'm at 13. Doing great. I like to talk, and I've got a lot of topics to talk to other guys about. A lot of these episodes are going to be about common sense stuff. Taking care of yourself, your family, whenever certain situations come up that I think are unique to our generation, I'll bring them up to you. I'm going to try to make this a common thing. I don't know how many it'll be, but I'll come up with some ideas. I am verifiably insane, and I think a lot about very odd things, and so I'd like to share them with you just on the off chance that you share them with me. So I'm going to give you the regular spiel of like and subscribe. I'd love it if you joined me on this journey. Like I said, I'm a regular guy. I'm going to talk to you about regular shit, and I'm not going to beat around the bush with it. In fact, I'm going to give you a little tip that I've learned in my old age. If you find yourself going to the bathroom and getting the split stream, piss going everywhere, I've got the solution. Give it a little pinch before it starts off. That way, it comes out solid and strong. Not that that's been an issue, but you never know what you're going to get from every time you go to the urinal or the bathroom. Pisses the wife off if you don't do it. That's something to avoid. Easy to do. I only recently learned about it and promptly told my 26-year-old son. I was like, hey boy, check this out. I didn't show and tell or anything, but at the same time, it's an easy thing, an idea to convey. I was like, if you just give it a little pinch before it jets off, the cleanup is a lot less, and the people that clean up after you will appreciate it. So, yeah, I talk about weird shit. I cuss. My sponsorship ideas are eh, I'd like to be sponsored, but I'd also like, to talk to other fellas about stuff that's going on in our lives. And for God's sake, leave a comment. If you're going through some atrial fibrillation like me, definitely tell me about your story and how you resolved it, because I'm curious to know. Mine went great, and my wife is happy too, obviously. Suffice it to say, things got right back to normal the very next day. You should have seen it. The first 2 times I tried this, I was sobbing like a bitch. I'm not proud of it. I ran out of water. My throat got all tight. I started blowing my nose, and the next thing you know, I was just, I won't be doing that anymore if I can help it. You never know what might come up. Don't judge. So for now, again, I'm your host, Mr. Noir, and thank you for stopping by. I hope the next time you see me, I'll have something a little bit more fun to talk about. I'm not trying to always bring people down at all, but this one felt like an important one. Like I could actually help other guys in a similar situation. And if that's the case, then I feel like I'm doing a good thing. In the meantime, thank you so much for stopping by. Please do again. All right, take care.